2007 was a year that many wrestling fans will never forget, not particularly due to any wrestling event in general, but a tragedy that occurred outside of it. On the 25th of June 2007, police discovered the bodies of Chris Benoit, his wife Nancy, and younger son Daniel. As a result, the WWE scrapped one of their biggest storyline, the Who Killed Mr. McMahon angle, with McMahon forcing to break kayfabe to announce his death on a tribute show, ending the storyline prematurely. The angle commenced on an episode of Raw dubbed Vince McMahon's Appreciation Night, where many wrestlers gave their opinions on the chairman's career, with most of them being negative, and wrestlers finally getting the last laugh on Vince McMahon. For a moment, the misogynistic and egotistical Mr. McMahon felt like a frail old man who had lost touch of his company. After being booed out of the ring, an emotional Vince slowly walked backstage, past every wrestler on the show. Vince took one last look at the company he had built from the ground up, only for all of them to turn their back on him. He made his way to his limo, and just as he shut the door, the limo exploded with Mr. McMahon in it, presumably killing him. The storyline was incredibly impactful. In fact, a number of non-wrestling media mistakenly reported that this was a real death, ensuing many people to call WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, offering their condolences, and even resulted in WWE's stock prices dropping, as investors thought the head of the WWE had just died and assumed the business was going to suffer as a result. Tastelessly, the WWE kept kayfabe by having a 10-bell salute on SmackDown, something that angered many fans as out of respect it should be reserved for real deaths only. The 25th June edition of Raw was to be Vince McMahon's memorial service. The WWE had plans of bringing out a casket, decorating the ring with flowers, and pictures of McMahon. The show would have then ended with a cliffhanger, with lead detective Mr. Beck making an arrest of the fake culprit, Linda McMahon. Of course, this never happened after the Benoit tragedy was revealed, and instead, Raw was dedicated as a tribute show to Benoit, with Vince appearing on the broadcast as well as later on, revealing he had faked his death in order to see if his family still loved him. However, even though the storyline didn't play out, former WWE writer Court Bauer revealed the details of the scrapped angle and what was supposed to happen during an interview with the World According to Wrestling podcast. Of course, we're all familiar with the McMahon family, wife Linda and their two children Shane and Stephanie, but Bauer revealed we were going to be introduced to a new McMahon family member, Roderick McMahon, who was Vince's real-life brother. Roderick was set to be the opposite of Vince, and would have effectively been portrayed as the anti-Vince. In fact, the name Roderick was a tribute to Vince's grandfather, who shares the same first name. Bauer explained, his family was going to come in the following week and be a part of the funeral for Vince McMahon, and I was always pushing that I would love to get another side of the McMahon family involved with the WWE. I think it would have been fascinating, because people forget that Vince has a brother, and I think that story would have been amazing. He continued how Vince the tycoon he is, the ruthlessly aggressive guy, took over the family business. His poor brother, what happened to him? And now there's a refresh on the McMahon dynasty, and all of the rivalries and stuff you could tell now. All of these news stories that are there because Roderick has children that you could play with in this setting. Bauer said he was hoping the storyline would allow fans to see a different side of the McMahon family. Vince McMahon had built his Mr. McMahon character to be a dominating and borderline evil personality, so Roderick would have been the opposite. Bauer said that there was also the possibility of involving his children in the storyline, so there could have been some cousin versus cousin battles as well. What do you guys think? Would you still like to see Vince's real-life brother appear on WWE TV in a possible takeover attempt? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.